What's good, everybody? It's Bro and today, guys, I'm coming to you with a brand new video. But before we get into that, guys, I'd like to invite each and every single one of you guys to go ahead and leave a like on this video, guys. Let's try and get 20 likes. We've been crushing those goals, so keep it up. And again, guys, comment what you guys want to see next, and of course, comment just anything, because I always respond to your comments no matter what. And of course, subscribe if you guys have not already, because we're trying to 10K by the end of the year. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into the video. So guys, starting off with the video, of course, it is a Springan's deck profile. Now again, guys, like I said before, make sure you stay through the video because I do explain each and every reason for the cards. If you guys want to net deck it, that's perfectly fine as long as you guys know the reasoning for it. But again, guys, leave a like down below and subscribe, of course. But starting off with the video, guys, we played triple Springan's Rocky. Now this card is a very good card. I was debating whether you played at 3 or 2 for the specific instance where you'd rather have this card in your graveyard before you continue your play, but you actually really want to open this card and discard it. So Springan's Rocky, very important, guys. This card says if this card is normal or special summon, you can target one of the field spells or one Springan's monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. And then it has a secondary Springan's effect where it says if this card's in your hand, field, or graveyard, target one Springan's monster and then equip it onto as material. So Rocky is very good, and like I was showcasing before, guys, Rocky is important because this is how you get another free body on board when you go through the Merrymaker line, and you've already discarded Rocky. So it's a very good interaction. So that's why I feel like playing triple Rocky is very good. I wish that there was a way to special summon Rocky by himself, like he had some sort of effect, or maybe if he's normal special summon, you can summon one from deck. But again, that'd be a little bit too OP, but Rocky is still good. Then moving on, guys, we do play triple Springan's Brothers. Now this card, I feel like you definitely have to play at 3, off the specific reason that you almost always want to be opening this card with Rocky, or you want to be opening one of the other ones. So again, Brothers has the effect: this card sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, target one Springan's monster from your graveyard, special summon in defense position. Secondary Springan's effect: this card's in your hand, field, or graveyard, equip it onto an XYZ monster as material. So again, these two cards go really hand in hand. Essentially, like I was showcasing before in my comment video, if you guys haven't seen it, it'll be over here somewhere. Essentially, the way that it works is you want to get Rocky in graveyard initially, and then either discard Brothers or mill it off a Merrymaker to reborn Rocky. Then Rocky will trigger to go ahead and get Brothers back to your hand, and then normal Brothers, and then you can go ahead and continue on your plays as well. So it's super nice, guys. It's a very good interaction that these two cards have. So I feel like you're going to be burning through them a lot each and every turn. So having 3 is also crucial. But then moving on to the other card, we play double Springan's Pedor. Now Pedor is not as good, and you can definitely play him at 3. So Pedor reads: you can tribute this card, target one Springan's monster in your graveyard except Pedor, special summon it, and then secondary effect again, hand, field, graveyard, equip it. So Pedor is good, but he's good more like post turn 1, because you can normal summon this guy, and then tribute him, and then you can reborn a Rocky, and then Rocky can go ahead and get Brothers to your hand. So there's combos with that as well. And then Pedor just being another level 4 machine name can also help in those instances. But I feel like playing 2 to 1 Pedor is better, just because he's not as good as these guys if you open him, and most of your normal summons will be used on Rocky itself, or if not Brothers. So there is that. A good thing about Pedor is he can definitely tribute to reborn any Spriggans monster, because it doesn't say special summon Spriggans monster in defense position or special Spriggans non-XYZ monster. So you can reborn like big Sargass, and Sargass can go ahead and activate its effect, because again, it doesn't detach. So that's pretty good. But I feel like just playing 2 Pedro you're fine with. And then we are playing double Branga as well, or Branga. I don't know, I think Branga makes more sense. This card says if this card is in your hand, field, or graveyard, target one Spriggans monster, equip it as material. The secondary effect is what we want this time. This card says you can banish this card, one Spriggans monster with a different name from your graveyard, add one Spriggans card from your deck to your hand. So this card is very good because this is another way of getting into your Spriggans Tally Ho, again into your Watch, again into your Booty AO. And specifically for that, it's not that big of a brick as well, because this card says if this card's in your hand, field, or graveyard, you can just go ahead and equip it, and then you can use any of your XYZ monsters to detach this card as a material to do some sort of effect, and then continue as well. Again, it is a level 7, so you're not going to be doing the level 4 plays. You're going to be going closer towards the level 7 plays, which is like Blowmaker or Blowfish or whatever. So Branga is pretty good as well. But yeah, so moving on from Branga, guys, we play double Springan's Captain Sargass. Now this is another card that you can play one of. I just feel like being able to have this card in rotation is very important, but because it's a boss monster, I would definitely suggest that you guys can play that one. Just mess around with the ratio, see what other side deck cards or tech choices you can play. But Sargass says this: if this card's in your hand, field, or graveyard, take one Spriggans monster, attach this card. But the main effect is during your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can detach one material from an XYZ monster you control, then target one face-up card on the field and destroy. So this is essentially how we get like our Dryden on the field. I wish it was any card, but again, Konami's really trying to balance cards and make them fair for some odd reason, and then they release Tournament. But basically, again, you summon Sargass, Sargass can detach and pop, and like I said before, Pedro can reborn any of these cards as well, or Pedro, my boy Pedro. But basically, yeah, so we go ahead and Sargus. So Sargus, we're playing double Sargus, and then an XYZ monster also has the effect where this card gains 500 attack, which that one's not as important. It's only important when you make like X Blower, I think was his name. But yeah, so we play double Sargus, and the reason why we're playing a little bit more level 7s is just to have the access, the accessibility to get into the big XYZ, because he's actually really good. He does a little hit marker thing, he's pretty good. But then moving on, we play double Spriggans kit. Now double Spriggans kit is, you never want to open multiple Spriggans kit, and that's the thing, right? I know that the theory of playing 2 cards is very wrong, but you're only ever going to go through 2. You're never going to go through 3, because you only play 1 fusion monster. And the reason why you play only 1 fusion monster is because the extract is like not that or it is pretty loose, but it's fine. But you're only playing 2 Spriggans kit because you're only going to be going through 2 Spriggans kit. Having the third one won't really help at all. And yeah, so Spriggans kit says if you have a fusion monster in your graveyard that mentions Fallen Valbaz, you can special summon it. And if this card is normal special summon, you can add one of your banished spell trap cards that is banished in your deck or in your graveyard, then place 1 card in your bottom of your deck. So Spriggans kit is very good. Again, it is a Springan's name as well. So you can actually reborn it with Springan's Tally Ho, or search it and then summon it and then go ahead and use its effect. So it's pretty nice as well in that regard, but that's it for Spriggans kit, honestly. And we play the 1 Therion King Regulus. Now Regulus is very good. Now my version of this deck isn't playing too many Therions, it's just playing the 1 Regulus, because there's so many ways to facilitate it. You can get it off of Clef4 Genius, you can get it off of what's his face, Sargus as well. So Regulus is pretty good in that regard. So I feel like just playing this guy, just one of is pretty good. I have seen lists that are playing like triple the Therion field spell and then Regulus and then a higher engine. You guys can definitely play that. I just want to make space for more gold second cards. So then again, moving on, guys. So this is anticipating the format where it's going to be Tier Element and Kashtira. So we're playing triple Bystial Magnum, playing the 1 Baldric and the 1 Druid Swarm. Now again, if you guys don't know, this card is essentially a DD Crow for dark and light monsters. Quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. Then during the end phase, you can add a dragon. So you add one of these guys. Druid Swarm is the exact same thing as Magnum, except when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 special summon monster on the field and send to the graveyard. Then Baldric is the other one where, again, like I said, it's proactive versus reactive, where Baldric says if your opponent special summons or a monster, basically any sort of like extra deck monster, you can tribute 1 other lighter deck monster and then banish it. So Baldric is pretty good as well. And then we're playing triple Effectular, sorry. And Effectular is very good against Kashtira, because it stops their plays completely, because you literally negate the monster. There's not really plays around it, they just need to hard open the extender. So Effectular is pretty good as well. And then against Tier Element, it's also very good against like Kick Hallows, cards like that. So Effectular is very good. But then moving on to the spell cards, guys, we are playing triple Spriggans Tally Ho or Tally Ho Spring. Now this card is insane. So essentially, and this is a very important thing I'm going to explain to you guys, this card says when you activate this card, you can also detach up to 3 materials from monsters you control. Now if you guys have stayed all the way until this part of the video, I can explain the ruling to you guys. And this card specifically states this: when you activate this card, you can detach 3 materials, add 1 Spriggans monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you detach materials at activation, you can special summon that many Spriggans monsters from your hand and or graveyard. So a ruling about this card is you do not need to have other options in your graveyard when you're activating this card's effect. The reason why is, like I was showcasing in your combos, when you have big monsters like Sargus who has 3 materials, you can activate Tally Ho, detach the 3 materials on activation, not for effect, detach the materials for activation requirements, add a monster, then you can summon 2 of the monsters that you detach plus the monster in your hand, because you're summoning 3 monsters and you're detaching on activation, not for effect. So you do not need the targets in the graveyard as well. So it's pretty good. And then he has a second effect where this card's in your graveyard, you can target 1 XYZ material on the field, detach one material from it. If you do add this card to your hand, you can only use 1 Tally Ho's effect and only once per turn. So that one's pretty good as well, because if you detach Sargus, it'll trigger big Sargus to go ahead and bounce a card or whatever. So that's really good as well. Then moving on, guys, we play triple Great Sand Sea Gold Golgonda GSSGG. Basically a GG when you activate this card. This card says all Spriggans XYZ monster on the field gain 1000 attack. You won't use each of the following effects once per turn. If you control no Spriggans XYZ monster, so again, it's not no monsters, no Spriggans XYZ monster, which is the reason why I say that the Bystials are very good in this regard, because even if you have Bystials on board, you can activate Golgonda and there's no like negative effects to it. Discard 1 Spriggans monster or 1 Spriggans card special on 1 Spriggans XYZ monster from your extra deck. If a face-up XYZ monster you control leaves the field by card effect, target 1 monster your opponent controls, it cannot attack. So the secondary effect I will explain later on as we get into the extra deck. But the main effect is, again, discard card and summon the Spriggans XYZ monster, and that's why I was saying that with either Rocky or Brothers, it facilitates a whole lot of plays, which is absolutely crazy. It does suck when you have discard Brothers, because then you can't mill Brothers, but being able to get Rocky is absolutely nuts. Like, you go discard Rocky, even getting Pedor into your hand, then Pedor tribute to reborn the card, and then Rocky get the card and then summon it. So it's very good. Great Sand Sea Golgonda is insane. it's just like any other deck, right? If you have an OP field spell, you might as well play it. But then we're playing triple Spriggans Watch. Now this is the reason why we don't play Terraforming, is because this card says add one Great Sea Gold Golgonda from your deck to your hand, and then if that card's already on your field, you add one Spriggans Monster from deck to your hand, and then send one other Spriggans Monster from deck to your hand. So I showcased a lot before where there's a lot of plays with Spriggans Watch as well, and if you guys see, being able to add and mill one, you can go ahead and kind of like add Rocky, mill this, or add Brothers and mill this, or add this and get this. So there's a lot of little unique strategies that you guys can definitely play with Spriggans Watch, and being able to add and mill is absolutely crazy. Plus this card, add the field spell, and if you already have the field spell, you add and mill. That's absolutely nuts. And then we're playing triple Brandon High Spirits. Now this card is super crazy, like I was saying in my Brandon deck profile as well. You can reveal one monster in your hand, send one level 8 fusion monster from your extra deck with the same type. So again, any of these guys will be able to reveal, and then you can go ahead and send a machine. I was thinking about adding another dragon monster or some sort, just to like maybe facilitate some sort of other play where you can do it. But again, playing triple Brandon High Spirits is fine as well. You discard it, then you add one Fallen Labaz or one monster that mentions it, so you can go ahead and get Spriggan's kit. So that's that. Then you play double Spriggan's Booty. Spriggan's Booty said if a face-up XYZ monster you control leaves card by card effect, trigger one effect monster your opponent controls, and you play can activate that effect monster on the field this turn. You can send this face-up card to the graveyard. Activate one Great Sand Sea Gold Golgonda once per turn. So again, you're playing 3, you're playing 6, you're playing 8 versions of getting into it, so you definitely do not need Terraforming at all. If you wanted to, you could by far or definitely play I can't remember what the Therion field spell is called, but you can play it, and then you can essentially play like a Terraforming and set rotation and have more ways of access to this card. But again, you have so many ways of getting Great Sea Sand Golgonda or whatever. So, and then yeah, moving on, we played the last Handtraps, which are triple Impermanence. So again, this deck can definitely go second as well. There's a lot of nice little plays. You can play Nibiru, you can play Gallon Granite as well. It's pretty nice. But yeah, moving on to the tech choices, guys. You can play a Sprite variant of the deck. And the reason why I say you can play a Sprite variant is specifically because of Smashers. Smash said banish one Spriggans, Therion, or Sprite card. Just summon one Spriggans monster from your deck. So it's really good. You can just play Smashers by itself, like you just play triple Smashers or something as like an extender, which is really good. It's just that it doesn't do anything by itself, which sucks. And for the most part, you kind of want the cards in your graveyard, so it's weird. But you can definitely play Sprite Smashers. There are variants that play Cyberstein, where Gear Gigan X can grab Cyberstein. Then you can normal Cyberstein, use Stein to get Exterior. I personally think that it's very good, but I also don't like it because you're paying 5k life points. And again, in a Monster Mash deck, you kind of deal with a lot, but this end board technically does deal with a lot of monster negate, so you can technically play it, but paying 5k to get Dark Ruler, get your board cleared, and then they hit you on the next turn is pretty messed up. You can play triple Tornado Dragon. You can play Tornado Dragon as well, just for backwards removal, and then you can also play these cards. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because these cards are generic ways of getting into rank 4s, and they also give you graveyard disruption for the tier elements when they mill you. So it gives you a lot of sorts of versatility. You don't even need to play Yugioh, to be honest. You can just play Kelbeck because it's a hand trap. Yugioh is like mid, but you go 3, 6, 9, just play these cards as your hand trap engine as well instead of the Bystials. Then you can play always, so it's very good. Then you can play the one Cliff or Genius, like I was showcasing in the combo, to get your Therion Regulus, Platinum Gadget as an extender, and then Appaloosa. And then moving on to the extra guys, we play the one Abyss Dweller, of course, because this card's an FTK. Time Thief Redoer. Now this card's pretty important in this deck because, like I showcased before, you overlay into Redoer, run away, do your whole thing, and then Redoer will come back later. You can technically play like a bigger Link variant of the deck as well, where essentially instead of going into Redoer, you can make like, let's say like an IP Masquerena or Cliff or Genius. It doesn't matter. It just depends on how good you think Redoer is. Against a trap deck, I would definitely be making Redoer because you can keep stealing traps and shuffling. Then we play the Future Draco package, and the reason why this card is good is if you played in bird format, you would know how OP and annoying this card is. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Wait, what is it? Yeah, cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once your opponent activates a monster effect, attach from to negate the activation. And then if you do that and the monster on the field, steal it. So it's pretty good. Gear Gigan X helps us get a lot of our extenders. Double Merrymaker, like I said before, when she summoned mill, or when he summoned mill, I think Merrymaker is like the weapon, it looks like, and that's like Sargus, so it's pretty cool. Merrymaker mill, and then you can play double Gigantic Champion Sargus. Now you can get away with one, but you'll see that it comes up a lot. And technically speaking, the reason why I say you can get away with one is with my boy Pedro over here, but you just play 2 and it's fine. And then we play the one Explorer. Now this is the card I was talking about, where Explorer says choose one of your opponent's monsters or spell and trap card zones, detach any number of materials from this card, and if you do, destroy the same number of cards your opponent controls in that chosen zone and its adjacent monster and a spell trap card zone. During your opponent's main phase battle phase, you can manage this card until the end phase. And Merrymaker also has the runaway effect as well. And this is what I was explaining with Great Sea Gold Golgonda. is it says if it leaves by card effect, you can target one monster your opponent controls, it cannot attack. So basically, you have cards like this where if they're threatening to end your life or like kill your monster, you activate its effect to run away. This will trigger Golgonta to buzz the monster that can't attack, and also trigger Spriggans Booty to not be able to activate that effect monster. So it essentially makes these guys pseudo disruptions in and of themselves. And again, he has the effect where he can pop a card, and it's like a hit mark, right? So like say for example, I target Baldrake here, it'll go Branga all the way to Golgonda, and then it'll go Magma to Druistorm. So it's a hit marker. It's really nice. And then play the one Zeus, of course. I mean, it's Zeus. Like, why would you not play it? You might even play 2 in this deck because of how many XYZ monsters you make. Then play the 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 IP because you go IP into Unicorn, extra disruption, 1 access code because if they don't out the Unicorn, you murder them. And then the 1 Sprint for the Abandoned High Spirits. And again, Sprint has the same effect, just like Titanic had, where it says during the end phase, you can special 1 Spriggans or 1 Fallen of Albaz monster. And for the most part, you're almost always summoning Springan's Captain Sargass from your deck. If you haven't gotten this card as well, and you're going for more of like a bigger Therion Regulus play, you can just go ahead and open Brand of High Spirits, dump this, so you can search Regulus off of Champion Sargass, and then you can summon this off of this. So then your essential end board, like I was showcasing before, is you're ending with like Dweller, you're ending with Champion Sargass, with Sargass, and then all sorts of other cards as well. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, guys, please leave a like. So guys, that was it for the video. If you guys liked the video, please go ahead and leave a like. If you guys made it to the end of the video and you are not yet subscribed, yes, I'm talking about you, please go ahead and leave a subscription because we're trying to get 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But again, guys, my name is Hamza, and like I always say, keep on shining, never go on your dreams. Peace.